This episode of Great Anthropologist is available in described video for the visually impaired. Coming up on Great Anthropologist, we look at the father of evolution, the man described as one of the most influential men in human history, the man that changed our view on the way we look at humans. In 1859, one man changed the world forever. He was Charles Darwin. All coming up next, Greatest Anthropologists.
Charles Robert Darwin was born on February 12, 1809, in the small town of Shrewsbury, England. He was the second youngest out of 6 children in his family. Darwin's family came from a long line of scientists, so much was expected of him. In 1827, Darwin became a student at Christ College in Cambridge. His father wanted him to follow in his giant footsteps and become a medical doctor. But blood made Darwin uncomfortable. His dad suggested he become a priest instead, but Darwin refused, wanting to study natural history. While Darwin was attending Christ College, Professor John Stephen Henslow became his mentor. After Darwin graduated Christ College with a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1831, Henslow recommended him for a natural position aboard the HMS Beagle. He got it and would be sailing for a 5-year trip.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell like. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamonds. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
And now, the continuation of Greatest Anthropologist. On December 27th, 1831, the HMS Beagle launched its voyage around the world. On the course of the trip, Darwin collected a variety of specimens, including birds, plants, and fossils. He returned to England in 1836, and the trip had great changes to his view on the natural world. He began to develop the most famous physical anthropologist theory of all time about the origin of living beings that was controversial to the popular view of the people. He came to believe that species survive through a process called natural selection, where species that successfully adapted to meet the changing requirements of their natural habitat would live. Harsh, but extremely practical. After many years of scientific research, Darwin introduced his great theory of evolution in a letter read at a meeting of the Linnean Society. On November 24th, 1859, he published a theory so great, so legendary, one of the greatest books for biologists and anthropologists alike. He published the scientific literature, The Origin of Species, by means of natural selection. It doesn't end there. The only real criticism of Darwin's theories comes from the war between creationism and evolution. The definition of evolution is a gradual process in which something changes into a different and usually more complex or better form, while the definition of creationism is a notion that describes the creation of all things to God's acts of creation, rather to evolution. Charles Darwin has lived on and has a huge legacy in the world of anthropology and biology. He is necessary to learn about in anthropology and biology. That's because he explained where you and I came from. Even though he's been dead for many years, he lives on as the father of evolution and my hero. Charles Darwin died at his family home in London on April 19th, 1982. Did I say 1982? What? Charles Darwin has lived on and has a huge legacy in the world of anthropology and biology. He is necessary to learn about physics. While Darwin was attending Christ College, Professor John Stevens Henslow became his mentor. After Darwin graduated Christ College with a Bachelor of Science Arts degree, he came to believe that species survive through a process called natural selection, where species that successfully adapted to meet the changing requirements of their natural habitat would live. Harsh, but extremely practical. Practical. He came to believe that species survive through a process called natural selection, where species that would successfully adapt.
Trey,
I'm in the middle of something.